Where'd you go now, pervert?
What's her problem? Sugar daddy issues.
Does anybody know how to make a mojito?
I'm not even Italian.
Your logic blows my mind sometimes.
Today I'm reviewing the 2017 horror comedy Pool Party Massacre. This movie was written and directed by Drew Marvick, who also actually has an acting role in the movie. Also, there is quite a large cast, so I'll just mention a few. We've got Destiny Faith Nelson, Kirsten Noel McCusick, Nick Beyer, Mark Justice, and Alexis Adams, who you may know better as a quite famous porn actress. Yes, she is an adult entertainment actress. So, what can I tell you about the premise of Pool Party Massacre? This movie follows a group of young socialites. The main group of young, beautiful teenagers are very wealthy, from backgrounds that would have maids, that sort of thing. One of the girls is from a more normal background, like you or me, and she sort of is trying to fit in with these other people because one of her friends is part of the group. So yeah, anyway, they're having their party. The premise of this story, as is probably pretty evident from the title, a unknown person is going around picking people off one at a time at this pool party, and we don't know who that is. There's not much else to be said about the premise. That is the entire premise of the movie. What did I think of the movie? I thought this was a whole lot of fun. If you are a horror fan and you watch a lot of horror movies, especially if you remember the 80s and 80s movies, if you're of an age that would remember that, which I am, it's got a real nostalgic feel to it. There's so many nods towards the 80s. The soundtrack is awesome. I love the soundtrack to this movie. It's got that feel that it's in the 80s, but it isn't. It's set in present day, so that was quite interesting to see that. It's not a movie that the casual horror fan would probably enjoy. If you're a person looking for your horror effects to be very realistic, very believable, if you're the sort of person to look for errors and pick holes and things, this probably isn't for you. This movie is just quite simply a lot of fun. It's like a love letter to the horror genre for horror fans. It's funny. I am a person that doesn't tend to enjoy comedy and horror. It's not something I feel is done very well, with the exception of movies obviously like Evil Dead and Shaun of the Dead, but this movie did actually really make me laugh. A lot of it you do have to have seen certain horror movies, more well-known horror movies, to get some of the comedy and some of the jokes, but it did make me laugh quite a few times. There's just so many nods to different things that you'll recognise when you watch it. The deaths were really inventive, well, it's wrong to say they were fun, but there's one particular death in it set in a bathroom. All I will say is it's not the female death, there are two. So if you've seen it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, look out for one of the deaths set in the bathroom. It made me roar. It's so funny, so well done, so incredibly tied together to be funny, to fit with the humour of the situation. It's just, I loved it. What else can I say about it? The acting was not too bad. Some of the actors were better than others. I won't say it's like any Oscar-winning performances. No one here is absolutely amazing, but I've seen an awful lot worse. But the story really was to be played quite OTT and quite campy, it seemed to me. So maybe that's really what they were doing. It's maybe not a case of, oh, this isn't realistic, this isn't believable. There were little points in the film, someone's supposed to be dead and you can see their chest rise or tummy when they're breathing. You get little things like that. There's little errors. The blood in places wasn't the most realistic, but like I say, this movie is not meant to be ultra realistic, scary, horrific. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be a ride. It's meant to be enjoyed, and I did enjoy it. It's something I feel that if you watched it with a group of friends and a few drinks, you'd have a blast. This movie, if ever there was a movie made to be watched with a group of friends at like a horror party or a get-together, this is it. I think this will appeal generally to most people that watch a lot of horror across the board. Not the occasional horror fan, they may think it's a bit silly, but anyone that loves their horror, watches a lot of it, I feel will enjoy this. Oh, something else to add. The person in here, which was my favourite actor in the actual movie, was Drew Marvick. He doesn't have a massive part in the film, but the part he did have, I thought he was the most believable, he just had the best character, and I find upon looking up some details today, he actually wrote and directed this movie, which I wasn't actually aware of. So he's awesome, fantastic. This one, I will imagine a lot of people have actually seen this. I remember on YouTube, as an example, around Texas Frightmare weekend last year, an awful lot of people bought this one. So it was familiar to me when I did see the cover of the movie. So I think this one's been doing quite well. I think there is quite a ripple in the horror community about this one. It has gone down quite well to my knowledge. So I got a chance to watch it, and I can say I thoroughly enjoyed it also. So yeah, I would recommend this to you if you like your laughs, if you like stupid horror comedy that's just hilarious, because this definitely was. So if I had to give this one a rating out of 10, I would say for the type of movie it is, I'll give it a good solid 7. Thoroughly enjoyable, did what it set out to do, thoroughly entertained, made me laugh. It's not going to be the most amazing horror you've seen by any stretch of the imagination, but if you go into it knowing what it's about, knowing that you're in there for the laughs, then I think you will enjoy it. So have you seen it? If you have, what did you think? Does it sound like something that appeals to you? Let me know below in the comments, and look forward to speaking to you next time.